Hello everyone, I'm Veronika Stolbova, a Senior Climate Strategist with Multi-Asset at Vontobel. My career started in Germany at Potsdam Institute for Climate Impact Research, a major contributor to IPCC reports on climate change. As a scientist working on the topics of climate change and forecasting, I was extremely fortunate to have traveled the world and get the chance to live in Uruguay, the Netherlands and Spain. 8 years ago, my research brought me to Switzerland, where I worked at the University of Zurich and ETH, teaching students climate finance and working with leading policy-making institutions, such as the Swiss National Bank. 1.5 years ago, I joined Vontobel to focus on climate strategy for investments. I entered the field of climate finance 2 weeks after the Paris Agreement was signed in December 2015. This showed that almost 200 countries agreed to curb emissions to well below 2 degrees above pre-industrial levels. It also showed that for the first time there's going to be government support for climate resolutions, and investments would be needed to fulfill this goal. At the same time, it became abundantly clear that climate change impacts virtually every financial asset. I joined the field because on the one hand I witnessed climate change impacts firsthand and via my research, but also because I saw it as a wonderful opportunity to make a meaningful contribution to this new emerging field. Since the beginning of entering the field of climate finance, I witnessed how financial industry turned from cautious curiosity about climate change consideration in financial products and services and a niche topic for selected investors and asset managers to a widespread climate action plan tackling climate change. Now it is reflected in regulations in the EU, UK and Switzerland, also via subsidies supporting the energy transition. Climate change in the financial industry turned from a new kid on the block and thematic investment towards a large and regulated field. It also, however, received a lot of criticism in some part of the globe. What remains unchanged is the need to measure the impact of climate change on investments and to understand how to measure it accordingly for portfolios and financial products, as well as to understand when climate change becomes material for investments. I foresee an upcoming harmonization of approaches towards managing climate risks for investments and overall integration of climate change in the portfolio management, especially for institutional clients, but also for private clients. Well, that is easy, investments. I have been working in the field of climate finance for several years and mostly dealt with academia, NGO and policymaking institutions such as central banks. When I joined Vontobel, I wanted to be part of the field from the industry perspective. One thing is knowing the field, another thing is applying what you know in a different setup. It could be extremely fascinating and challenging, but also exciting. I have a very special team. We have diverse personalities, backgrounds and perspectives. We have 4 generations covered within the team. These are hard-working people who also know how to have fun. But most specifically, the support you get from your colleagues in times when you need it most. It's what I value the most. I find it extremely fascinating and fortunate to be part of such a team. Caring, hard-working, purpose-driven and professional, my colleagues are very open-minded and always happy to help. This is an exceptional setup that helps to bring many ideas to life.